networking fundamentals. In this, we have to study what is networking, how many types of networks are there, and examples. So first of all, a computer network, it is a collection of computers and other hardware components interconnected by communication channels. So basically what happens is when more than one computer, they are connected with some hardware, when they are connected, so then that they form a network. Okay, and they allow what? They allow the sharing of resources, they allow the sharing of information. Okay, so basically a group of computers is known as network. Okay, a collection of computers, they are connected to one another via cables or satellites, etc. So now networks are designed using the following architectures. Okay, so we have basically two types of architectures in which the networks are designed. One is your peer-to-peer, that is P2P architecture, in which what happens is that suppose 5 systems are there in the network, then all the 5 will have equal status. Okay, and there is no server, there is no client, but all the computers, they are equal, they are equal component CPU. Then next we have client server architecture. In client server architecture, what happens is that one computer is designed or designated as a server, and rest computer systems are connected to that computer system. So the main computer is known as the server, and the rest of the computer systems are known as the client computers. Okay, so the client computers, whatever request they have, they will send their request to the server, and the server will respond accordingly. Then moving on to the types of networks. Majorly, we have two types of networks, LAN and WAN. So LAN is your local area network and WAN is your wide area network. So local area network is basically the one which connects the computers and devices in a limited geographical area, such as your school, your computer, your home, your school, your computer lab, office, building. Okay, so just very limited area, closely positioned group. Okay, but suppose we want our network to be in a wider range, so for that we cannot use LAN. Like in our homes, in the schools, we use LAN because the area is limited. But when we are talking about a whole city or whole district, then we cannot use LAN. So for that we have WAN, that is wide area network. It covers a broad area. Okay, so like your governments, non-profit organizations, custom consumers, artists, entertainers, all these use what? WAN. Then we have internet. So internet is what? Internet is basically a global system of interconnected computer networks that use the standard internet protocol to serve billions of users worldwide. So internet is basically what? It is just a it is a global system. Okay, and all the computers are connected worldwide to that connection, and they are sharing the standard internet protocols, whatever the protocols are there. Okay, and it is the most useful technology in today's time. We use it in our personal lives, we use it in our professional lives, everywhere. Internet is like the basic need for today. Then World Wide Web, it can be abbreviated as www or w3. It is also known as web. It is basically what? It is a system of interlinked hypertext documents. Okay, interlinked hypertext documents means the documents on the web page is what? Like web page is a single page that is on the net, and website is the collection of web pages. Okay, so the interlinked pages over there. So we need a web browser to access the web pages. Okay, so the web pages, they can contain images, text, videos, multimedia, and we can navigate between them with the help of hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are the links that connect one web page to another. Then next what we have is some of the advantages that are associated with networking, like why we are studying networking, why we use network, why the computers are not working alone, why, what is the need for the networks. So first and foremost is data sharing. So suppose we have a data on one system and we want it on the other system. So what we can do is we can connect both the systems in a network and then we can share the data. The data can be documents, presentations, audio files, video files, etc. Hardware sharing. Suppose there are 10 computer systems in a lab. Now I want printouts. So what the thing is ki if I will attach one printer to each of the computer system, then what will happen is that it will be expensive for me. Why? Because 10 print, first I will buy 10 computers, then I will buy 10 printers, and if there are 100 computers and 100 printers, so that will not work. So the easy way is that we can connect all the 10 computers in a network, and then we can connect the printer to the network also. Okay, so that is what, that is your resource sharing. So instead of purchasing 10 printers, one printer can be purchased and it can be shared among the multiple users, thus saving cost. Then internet access sharing. Obviously if the computers are connected in a network, so the internet connection can be shared amongst the computers that are connected in the network. Then usage of network-based applications such as web browsers, email clients, chats. So all these web browsers, we have email clients, chat application, all this we can share in multiple systems if the systems are connected in the network. Now, how can we access the internet? So in order to access the internet, we have internet service provider. Okay, so internet service provider are basically responsible for providing us the internet. Okay, so like if you are using BSNL net or Airtel net, so all these are basically what, your internet service providers or ISP. Okay, so now basically ISP, it is what, it is an organization that provides you access to the internet. Okay, if they will not provide you the access, then you will not be able to access the internet. So it can be via dial-up, that is using modem, or direct, that is hardwired or wireless. Okay, three types of connections they provide: using modem, that is dial-up, then wired and wireless. Three types are there. Okay, so first of all we have modem. So connectivity, which type of connectivity you want, it depends on whether you want it for your home, whether you want it for medium business, small business, it depends on that. Okay, so then we have modem. A modem is a device that converts computer signals from analog signals, digital signals into analog signals and travel over phone lines. Okay, so basically in homes we have this, the modem, and we have a landline also. So these signals, what a modem it basically converts the digital signals, that is the 0 1. Digital signal means signals in the form of 0 1 into analog signals. Okay, and it uses a phone line for this, and then it reconverts the analog signals to the digital signals again. So it is also modem, modulator and demodulator. It will be converting the digital signals to analog and then analog signals to digital. Now the types of internet connectivity that we have: dial-up, that is wired, DSL is also wired, cable internet access is wired, now 3G, now we have 4G. Okay, that is wireless, WiMAX is wireless, and Wi-Fi is wireless. Okay, so dial-up is that we have studied earlier, we have discussed this, that the internet service provider, it will facilitate the public switch telephone network PSTN to establish a connection to an internet service provider. Okay, so the users, they dial a particular number provided by the ISP and then they gain the access to the internet. Okay, Then we have DSL, digital subscriber line. It provides the internet access by transmitting digital data over wires of a local telephone network. Okay, so DSL service is basically, it is delivered along the wired telephone line. So on the customer premises, a DSL filter is present. A DSL filter is there, and it will remove the high frequency interference, and it will enable the use of telephone and data transmission simultaneously. Okay. For this, you will be needing a DSL model and a subscription. Then cable internet access, it is a form of broadband internet access that you can use for accessing internet. Uh, Cable internet access, basically it is a form of broadband internet access that uses the cable television infrastructure. Okay, so in this what will happen is the internet access to the customer that is provided by the cable TV networks. Okay, then 3G, now we have 4G, obviously fourth generation. So this is basically wireless. I'm sure you must be familiar with this term. So it basically uses the mobile data to access the internet and mobile telephony communication protocol. So the higher data transfer speeds and capacity can be found over here, and for that you need to have a 3G or 4G supported device, then only you can access the internet with this. Then WiMAX is your worldwide interoperability for microwave access. It is again a wireless communication form, and it is designed to provide mobile broadband connectivity across the cities. Okay, earlier we have studied that modem is there. For that, sorry, Abhi will be studying the modem is there. With that we can have the Wi-Fi connections, but over here in WiMAX, the mobile acts as a broadband connectivity. Then last we have Wi-Fi. It is the most popular technology that everyone uses today. So it is basically the network that allows the electronic device such as computers or mobile phones to exchange data wirelessly over a network. Now, data transfer on the internet, what happens is basically how the data is transferred, that we have to study now. So when we have a piece of data like a web page, so what happens is given in the following steps. First of all, that data, it is broken into bits, same size bits known as packets. Then a header is added to each packet, and it will explain that from where the data is coming and where it should be going. Okay, so source and destination is mentioned. Now each packet is sent from computer to computer. Suppose there are 10 computers in a network, and one computer is sending data to another computer. So that data is divided into packets, a header is added, the source and the destination. Okay, now that packet will be sent to all the computers, and the computer with whose the destination will match, the destination present in the header will match with only one computer. So what will happen is that the computer on the way, it will decide where next to send the packets. So all the packets may not take the same route, the packets may have the different route. Now at the destination, the packets, they are examined, and if any package is missing or damaged or the file is corrupt, then the destination computer, the receiver, it will ask the sender to resend the packet, and this continues until all the packets have been received intact. Now the packets, they are assembled in the original form, and you might be wondering that this is a long process, but actually this happens in just seconds, and you will not be able to identify that these many steps were performed when you have delivered one message to from one system to another. Okay, so next we have this, that the following table to compare different subscription plans. Okay, now whenever you have to take you have to decide that which type of internet connection you want. Then they have basically given a table that what all you should check. You should check the plan name, the download speed, the download limit, and all. Okay, all this is there. So now they have told us how we can access the Wi-Fi on our computer system. So basically, there is a computer symbol over here at the bottom of the screen. When you will click, you can see the option view available wireless networks. So when you will click on the available wireless networks, then what will happen is that you will have all the networks that are available. The Wi-Fi, the name of the Wi-Fi networks will be over here. And when you will click on any one, so if the network is password protected, then you will be asked a password, and if not, then you will directly be connected. So this is all for session 2.